I not like in the Christmas spirit? Is this doing too much? I don't know. Am I doing too much with the sweater? I'm kind of vibing with it. The sweater's gonna stay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and it has been a very long time since I last posted a video, since I last filmed a video. It has been hectic. I had a whole spooky season, like reading spooky books for spooky season, reading thrillers, video, vlog planned, and then I got sick and then I realized that I needed more time to read the books for the vlog and I just like scrapped the vlog. I am in grad school, and if you are in college, grad school, if you're in school in general, you know that right now is the worst time in the semester because it is final season. So I have just been swamped with finals. I still feel like I haven't fully recovered from being sick, but I am back. Even though finals aren't done, I still have 2 papers to finish and 2 reports to write, but I have been missing filming videos. Like I genuinely have been watching all of my favorite booktubers, all of my favorite vloggers, and now that Vlogmas and Bookmas are starting, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I miss filming so much. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna make time to film a video for you guys because I miss you guys. And I also just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is insane. And I feel like I've not kind of formally got on camera and said thank you guys. So thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for watching my content, engaging with my content. I appreciate it. And I want to make more content for you guys. I don't want to leave you guys hanging for those who subscribe. So that's what we're doing today. We are back with another video. It is the holidays. I am in my Christmas sweater because I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. So I am super excited. In the theme of it being Christmas, I have my December TBR. I really want to prioritize reading this month. It is the last month of the year. So I want to make sure that I hit the books on my end of year TBR. So I have 7 books that I'm going to be talking about today that are on my December TBR that I am going to prioritize. Really, I have no other books like I'm itching to read other than these, so I genuinely feel like this is the only TBR that I've set all year that I will actually finish every single book, if not most of the books. So we're gonna get into the books. So these are the 7 books. We are going to start with the fantasies. I have not been reading that much fantasy this year, and then I started reading a little bit of fantasy I think in October, and I have just been craving more and more fantasy because I've spent most of the year reading nothing but like contemporary romances. So we are definitely giving fantasy a spotlight in December. So the first book that I want to read in December that is on my December TBR is actually the next 2 books in a series. It is Kingdom of the Cursed and Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the 2nd book and the 3rd book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series by this author. I read Kingdom of the Wicked, I want to say it was either in October or November, I don't really remember, and I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but I felt like it was a really good foundation for the rest of the series, and I was still very intrigued to see where the series is going to go. I really liked a lot of the characters in the book, and I felt like the plot was just starting to kind of grip me and grab me, and I just felt like there's something about the series that I'm intrigued by and I'm interested in, and I don't just want to stop it even though I didn't love the first book. So Kingdom of the Wicked, I think it's young adult, but I heard that it starts to become more of an adult fantasy when you get into the 3rd book. But Kingdom of the Wicked follows 2 twin, I don't know if they're twins, but it follows 2 witches that are sisters. However, they live amongst humans and everything like that. There is a killer going out and killing a bunch of these witches, and we don't really know why. And unfortunately, the killer gets to one of the sisters, and the other sister finds her sister's body and is like, bro, I need to get to the bottom of this. So what she does is she summons one of the princes of hell, and the princes of hell mirror the 7 deadly sins. So there is a prince for every single one of the 7 deadly sins, and she summons Prince of Wrath, and they kind of get into a tussle. Okay, they do not get along. It is definitely giving enemies to lovers. I really love their conversations. I love their banter. I felt like they have really good chemistry. However, I will say with my main character, I felt like she was trying so hard to be like a bad bee, but she just wasn't giving bad bee energy. But I feel like she has the potential. I see the potential in her, and I see the potential with Wrath, and I see the potential in the relationship, and the way they book ended, I really am intrigued to see how the rest of the series is gonna go. So they're kind of teaming up together, trying to figure out who is out killing these witches and like what's really going on behind the scenes. So they work together in the first book, and they kind of are going to be working together in the rest of the series. That is why I want to read Kingdom of the Curse and then Kingdom of the Feared. I'm actually low-key kind of mad that I got the hardcover cover of this. I think I would have preferred the paperback because I feel like the paperback, which is this one right here, just looks better. But yeah, I'm really excited to finish off the series because I also want to get into the spin-off series of this, which I think is Throne of the Fallen, and that follows Prince of Envy. We met Prince of Envy in Kingdom of the Wicked, and he was very interesting. He's a very interesting character, so I would love to get into his book, but I know I gotta finish this series to do that. So this series is high on my TBR for December. I want to finish it. I want to read it. I'm so excited to get into it. The next book we have is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and I feel like this is a book that everybody and their mother has read. I am so late into reading this book. The way that people talk about Divine Rivals, I don't know, like it's just grabbing my attention because people have nothing but positive things to say about this book. Even people who don't read like young adult romance or young adult fantasy, they have so many positive things to say about this book. I've heard the writing is amazing. I've heard the characters are amazing. I've heard that the romance between our two main characters is written so beautifully, and it's very unique to anything they've read before. One thing about me, if you say the writing in a book is really good, that's going to make me want to pick up that book more because I am a sucker for good writing, and I'm even more of a sucker for good writing in a romance because that is really what captivates me in a romance, is the emotions, it's the chemistry, it's the writing that the author really pours into when she's creating these characters, creating this world, creating this connection between them, and I just feel like Divine Rivals is going to give me that. So I'm really excited to read it this month in December. It's also not a very long book, but I believe this story follows our two main characters, Iris and Rowan. Iris's brother, I believe, is sent off to war and she hasn't heard back from him, so she starts to write letters to him using a magical typewriter, and she sends these letters through her wardrobe, so she like slips them underneath her wardrobe and it magically gets sent to him, allegedly. The letters are actually being sent to Rowan, which is her, not arch nemesis, but kind of like her rival because they both work at this journalist place and they're kind of in competition to get this promotion at work, I believe. And he's the one who is receiving these letters, and he kind of writes back to her and she writes back to him, and they kind of build this connection through this magical typewriter and through these letters that they send each other. I don't know if he's like posing as her brother because that would be really weird. However, she knows that it's her that's writing the letters, but she doesn't know that it's him that's responding back. So it's very interesting, and I know there is a second book in the series. I don't know if it follows the same characters, but I'm really excited to get into this. I feel like it's gonna be really good, and I feel like it's gonna be really emotional. I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna cry when I read this. I don't know why, but it's giving Caitlin's going to cry. The next and last fantasy that is on my December TBR is House of Marian by J.L. And this is a book that I picked up when I was just randomly browsing at Target, and I will say that I want to get back into picking up books and reading books that I haven't heard really anyone talk about, that I don't pick up because I saw people talk about it on Book Talk or Bookstube or Bookstagram, but I just genuinely go up to it, I read the blurb, I read the synopsis, and I'm intrigued and interested on my own, and I pick it up and read it for that. And that's exactly what happened with this book. I had not seen this book talked about anywhere, hadn't seen it really publicized anywhere, but I just picked it up because I thought the cover was really pretty. Also, there is a lot of like author praise in the back of this book. It's also been praised by some of my favorite authors. So Sabaa Tahir, who wrote An Ember in the Ashes series, had really positive things to say about it. Marie Lu, who wrote the Young Elites trilogy, love that trilogy. If you have not read the Young Elites, you gotta read that. She had really positive things to say about it. But also authors that a lot of people like and really enjoy their work, so like Ali Hazelwood, Carrie Maniscalco, Nicole Yoon, and then Stephanie Garber also have written really positive things to say about this book. So that is, you know, another really good thing to see. So this book is a modern day romantic fantasy. It follows our main character, Quell, and her mom. They are running away because there is an assassin that is trying to get Quell because she has this dark magic running through her veins that she's not supposed to have. So she is running away from this assassin, and in doing so, she is choosing to hide in this like very high society, debutante type of magical society. And in doing that, she has to kind of pass these tests and trials to kind of be, I guess, admitted into that society. And if she's able to do that, then she can really hide her forbidden magic and no one will really find out. However, as you can probably assume, things are probably not going to go as planned, and there is also this tutor and mentor that she has, and that's the person that she kind of builds the connection with. However, I think he's also an assassin in training, so I don't know if that means that like he is also out to get people who have the type of magic that she has running through her veins. But if it is, that is giving drama, and one thing about me, I love drama. I think I read that this was giving modern day Bridgerton meets fantasy, and if that is what this book is giving, I'm hooked. So I'm excited to read this. I want to put this in a reading vlog because I feel like it would be really exciting to kind of show you guys my experience while reading this. The next book I have is actually the only Christmas holiday book that is in my December TBR, and that is the Christmas Fix by Lucy Score. I don't know if I'm a big holiday romance reader. I haven't really read any holiday romances, but I want to dip my toes in, and I feel like this is a good book to dip my toes in with. I haven't read any books by Lucy Score, but I'm very familiar with her Knock 'em Out series. It's very popular, but it's not a series that has really kind of grabbed my attention. But I've heard that people really like that series and they really like her writing, and I felt like the back of this book, when I read the synopsis, was interesting to me. So it is giving holiday Hallmark movie type of romance, which is fine because, I mean, who doesn't love a holiday Hallmark movie? So this book is about our two characters. We have Noah, who is a single dad and a town manager for this town that was struck by a hurricane. It's very ruined and it's kind of damaged right now. And then there is a reality TV star who wants to come in and kind of like renovate the whole town. She has her camera crew, she has her budget, she wants to fix everything, right? But he's like, I don't know about this, like I don't want this diva in the town kind of, you know, this is where I am, this is where I live, like I don't want her kind of capitalizing off the tragedy of the hurricane and also like filling his daughter's heads with like all of this like glitz and glams, the life that she lives, I guess. So he's kind of hesitant, kind of giving enemies to lovers. However, it says that the last time that this girl was in town, she caused nothing but trouble. So I also don't know if there's a past between these two characters. If it is, hello, let's add some depth to the story. Also seems like it's kind of them working together to put the town back together. Single dad, I'm interested to see how his daughter is kind of going to be involved in this story. Really interested to see our main character because she's a reality TV star, and you know, there's assumptions and stereotypes with that. It's kind of reminding me of Not the Summer I Turned Pretty. Not Every Last Summer. What is that book? That happened one summer. That book by Tessa Bailey, I will put a picture on the screen because I don't remember the exact title. I did not like that book. However, it's kind of reminding me of that book because Piper, I think is her name, the main character in that book, I loved her. And I wonder if Kat and Piper are very similar. If they are, then I'm gonna love this book because I love Piper. But if Noah is not the same as Brendan, I will probably like this book better because I could not stand Brendan. But this is not about that book. Anyways, I'm excited to read The Christmas Fix. I feel like it's going to be a great book for the holidays and to get me in that holiday spirit and that holiday mood. So the next book I have is In Ruins by Danielle Pearl, and this is a book that my best friend Mandy gave to me when I went down last week for Thanksgiving break. And one thing about me is that I take recommendations from my friends and my family. I just realized that my blanket fell and it's not the vibe. I take recommendations from my friends and my family very seriously, and I love it when they recommend me books, especially friends and family who don't read that much. So when they read a book that they really love, I'm like, oh my gosh, I will read it because I want to talk to you about books. So when she told me that, Caitlin, you have to read this book, it was amazing, you need to read it, you need to read it, you need to read it, I was like, say no more. Give it here. I'll read it. I'll read it right now. I'll read it right now. So I have not read it yet because I was supposed to read it this week, but you know, life hit me. But I am planning on reading it this month and prioritizing it because it is a book that she absolutely loves. And this book is about two high school sweethearts that kind of had a falling out in high school, and they kind of go their separate ways when they go to college. However, they find each other at a college party and things kind of come up with that. This book is also told in both of the characters' point of view, and I think it also switches between past and present tense. Only thing that I do not like about this book is that the font is really, really small. The last book I have for my December TBR, this was not even on my TBR until 2 days ago. I had a package that came in and I had no idea what it was because I hadn't ordered anything and nobody that I know sent me anything. So I was very like, what is this package? So I went into the mail room to pick it up and it felt like a book. I didn't give anybody my address, so I don't know who would have sent me a book, but I was trying to stay calm because there was like multiple books that I could possibly have received because I have been entering so many Goodreads giveaways and I'm like, I'm never gonna win a Goodreads giveaway. It's not gonna be me. You guys, I opened that package and I pulled out.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Let me collect myself for like 2 seconds. Okay, so I pulled out a love song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams, and this is the ARC copy. This book comes out February 6, 2024, and I have been itching for this book to come out, and I have been itching to get my hands on it. Literally cried and screamed in my car when I opened the package, and this is the book that I pulled out. I love Tia Williams so much. She wrote one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite romances of all time, 7 Days in June. That is hands down one of the best books I have ever read. I'm open to people's opinions when it comes to books, especially books that I really love and they don't really love. Like, I'm like, sure, I'll listen. That is the only book, one of the only books but is like top on that list, where if you did not like it, I don't want to hear it. Your opinion is not welcomed. I'm sorry. Like, that is one of the only books that, like, I genuinely have never seen perfection so blatant in a book before. I love that book hands down, and I'm so excited to read this. I am so excited to read a love song for Ricky Wilde. I'm going to save this book for the end of the year because I feel like this is a perfect book to close off the year with. This is actually a little bit different than 7 Days in June because it has a little bit of magical realism. I don't think T.O. Williams has written anything that kind of dabbles into that magical realism aspect before, so I feel like that's going to be really fun to read her kind of do that for the first time. So this book follows our main character, Ricky Wilde. She is part of this Atlanta dynasty. Her family is very, very popular in Atlanta. However, she doesn't really fit in with the expectations and the world that her family is kind of into and that she's been born into, and she has expectations from her family, her parents, and her sisters, and she just doesn't really fit in with that. Like, for example, she wants to own her own flower shop, she wants to be a florist, and that's just not something that kind of matches, I guess, with her family and like what they do and everything. However, she got a deal to move into a neighborhood and rent out a place in Harlem, New York. So that's where she goes, and in that neighborhood where she's at in Harlem, she kind of starts to realize that there's a lot of semblance and a lot of like music and stories and a lot of semblance of the Harlem Renaissance kind of still lingering in that neighborhood. And I guess that's kind of where the magical realism comes to play. I don't know if she's like being transported back into the Harlem Renaissance, not entirely sure, but it is in that neighborhood she meets this stranger, and they kind of just build this very, very, I'm assuming, amazing connection that is just going to rock my world, as I'm sure it's going to rock her world. And the guy that she kind of meets is also an artist. I think he's a pianist, and I feel like it's just gonna be so good. I'm just so excited. Like, you guys have no idea. I am so excited to read this book. This is such a perfect way to end off the year. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna stop geeking out and like calm down. All right, so these are all of the books that are on my December TBR. There are 7 of these books, and I genuinely feel like all of these books are very much doable for me to read. Again, there is not another book that I feel like I'm really itching to read. There's no releases that I'm itching to kind of get my hand. Ooh, Never by Jessa Hastings comes out in December. We can go ahead and add that on my December TBR because I'm reading that. I have to read that book this December. Have to read that book. So we can go ahead, editing me, pop a picture, because we're reading that book in December. So now we have 8 books on my December TBR. I feel like it's been a good reading year, and I kind of want to end it on a really, really good note, and I feel like these are great books to do that with. Comment down below what books are on your December TBR. If you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts on them. We are going to be posting more videos. I will not be participating in Bookmas and Vlogmas this year, but I would love to do that next year. I will be doing some reading vlogs this month, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing these books in those reading vlogs, so stay tuned for that. And with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again for 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!